Hello and welcome to the Federal. With the growing infighting within the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party in Uttar Pradesh, after the below par performance in the Lok Sabha elections, we are talking to Dr. AK Verma, Director at the for the Study of Society and Politics, on the political impact of the blame game within the BJP. Thank you for talking to us, Dr. Verma.
Thank you. Thank you.
So my first question is, according to you, what were the reasons for the poor performance of BJP in the Lok Sabha elections? Why did the BJP not meet its own expectations in the general elections?
Yeah, it's very interesting question because we conducted two empirical studies. Our center conducted two empirical studies, one from January to March, that is a pre-poll study, and the other was, post-poll. After every phase in the state, we conducted a post-poll study, and the last voting was on 1st of June, so our study completed on 2nd, and third was the only day we got for the data study and analysis, and fourth was the counting. Now, what surprised us is a complete, shift in voters' preference for BJP and NDA and because of this, during the campaign. You will be surprised that in our pre-poll data, almost 60 to 70%, whether it be the common voter, whether it be the rural voter, urban voter, young, even unemployed, every caste, every denomination, even 20% Pasmanda Muslims, they were all in favor of the BJP and NDA. But this is an election I have watched after, say, 50, 60 years of my career in this, field, that I have not seen any other election where the campaign narratives have completely, shattered the pre-poll scenario. And when we received our post-poll data, there was a 20%, dip in the voters' preference from 40%, from 60 to 70% preference for Modi and the NDA and this BJP government. Their preference came down to 43%. For the first time in several years since Modi took over, our data showed that for the first time, UP voters, because of this campaign narrative, Modi was reduced to 43% of voters' preference as the Prime Minister. And in every social denomination, whether it be the caste or whether it be religion, whether it be rural, urban, young, unemployed, everywhere you see a downslide, very substantial downslide. And there was a complete, shift for the Congress and SP. In our pre-poll data, there were just 14% people who were, opting for Congress, and they have completely, rejected the Congress and SP and the India bloc, candidates and possibilities. But in the post-poll scenario, there was almost 43.1%. I mean, this data is so accurate that it matches with the EDCI data, that actually the SP Congress got the same kind of votes, the same percentage of votes. So that's our study. Our study has shown that it is the campaign narrative, all the logics which are being given for the defeat of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, they are just mental constructs. The reason is that had there been no campaign, had there been an election in March, as early as March, there would have been a completely different scenario. But come the elections and come the campaign and come the campaign narratives, and that we can discuss that what was that campaign narrative. The campaign narratives have completely, topsy-turvy the outcome of the poll in this, and that was the reason why the BJP lost.
So there are instances of infighting within the BJP. What kind of an impact will it have in the state politics? Is the BJP losing the perception battle?
Infighting, I mean, you see, Gyan, as the organization grows, this infighting is an essential component of a growing organization. You probably know much better than me that if we look at the history of the Congress history is replete with the history of factionalism, right? Starting from J.P. Kriplani, to Lohia, and there was a Congress Socialist Center, and to the coming of formation of the Janta government, then earlier Mrs. Gandhi's stint, and so on and so forth, as late as this group of 21, and then gradually large to more than 1,000. So, infighting has been an essential component of each and every political party. The very fact that now BJP has acquired a stature where people thought that the party is going to stay, and it was going to stay, in fact, the I don't see this infighting as a very big problem. That problem has always remained with the big organizations. And given the kind of diversities and given the kind of heterogeneities that big organizations may face, and especially you see, Gyan, the kind of inclusion, the kind of inclusive politics that the Modi government has brought in the entire country. In UP, the state is a very caste-ridden state, and it is to the caliber and credit of Mr. Modi, I should say, that he has tried at least to superimpose a class model on the caste dynamics in Uttar Pradesh. Because you might have been noticing that he had repeatedly be talking of four, castes, that is the poor class, the small farmers class, the women and the youth. He has been focusing on four classes actually, and said that these are the four castes. So he was trying to amalgamate the caste and the class, and he was trying to wriggle out this caste business and try to give the UP politics an orientation of class. But I think that all his doings have been undone because of the narratives that the opposition could manage to create during the elections. And certainly, of course, if the BJP doesn't hold its ground and retrieves its bad points and bad initiatives, and again falls into the trap of caste dynamics, then certainly all its doing since 2024 will be completely go waste in the coming elections.
So almost all NDA members have complained to the central leadership of BJP about the functioning of the state government, and also that they are not getting assistance from the state government or the state BJP leadership. What are the possible causes for this infighting within the NDA?
Hmm. And whenever you have a growing, coalition, every component of the coalition wants to get a greater slice. I mean, that is a hard reality because everybody thinks that I am not getting my due, I should get something more. And the one who is running the government has so many other considerations in mind. He has to abide by the law, he has to abide by the constitution, he has to abide by the procedure. The previous governments of Uttar Pradesh of non-BJP governments, they have created such a mess so far as the bureaucracy and the functioning of the government is concerned that for them it was, rule was secondary and their wish and will and it was everything primary. And that's why the caste dynamics, the caste calculus, the caste politics in UP got so much, ingrained here that everybody who thought that he or she has a caste connection thought that I would get my work done by the government. So that is the psychology of the people also, and that is the psychology of the bureaucracy also. What has happened in the realm of this, BJP rule is that most of the signals from the top had been to abide by the law and the procedure. Now, what happens is that most of the BJP functionaries and the NDA partners, they have been complaining that the officials are not listening to them. By officials not listening to them, they probably meant that they are not able to get their work done the way they wanted the work to be done. Because if you have to go by the official procedures, then of course bureaucracy has its own way of delaying things. That is true. But at the same time, there are certain rules and procedures they have to be followed. Now, the psychology that has come up that, oh, in the Samajwadi Party era, I went to the officer and the officer saluted me and he immediately did my job. Otherwise, I'll take him to that kind of culture was there, and most of the politicians and the people who had been earlier with the identity politics, with the caste politics, have now been entered, into the new dispensation, that is the BJP. So otherwise, how the BJP will get the majority? So the people who are now backing the BJP or supporting the BJP, whether they are the leaders or whether they are the followers or workers, they still carry that same mindset that, oh, I want this thing to be done and it should be done immediately, attended immediately. And that's why they have been complaining to the government and to the central leadership that the officials are not listening to them. The prime minister, the chief minister is not listening to them. That is one thing. And a second thing is very important, that of course it is true that the chief minister here had been a little stiff on the law and order and other things. But then that is how you have to run a big state like UP. An ordinary person with a very meek kind of personality would not be able to run a state like Uttar Pradesh and set it right on the track. At least the people are, it's true that the government has been, in a sense, defeated in this election, Lok Sabha election, in a sense that they lost many seats. But then at the same time, that was a different thing why they lost. But the people are by and large happy because of the law and order situation, which was the prime concern of the people of Uttar Pradesh and fundamental requirement for the development of the state. And that's why the people who are in the NDLIs, they are not getting their work done. They are not getting favors from the officers. They are not able to bully officers and others, and that's why they are complaining that they are, not getting what they wanted to.
So there's been a speculation in the last 24 hours that there could be a change in leadership in Uttar Pradesh. BJP could change the entire top leadership in the state. Do you think that is the answer to the problem?
I have two pointers to this question. One is that the very issue of change of leadership is very premature for one reason, because it will completely demoralize the party structure and party people, because the by-elections are slated, then you have the assembly polls coming up. So it will certainly, give an impression that, oh, something went very wrong for the last 4 5 years and therefore we lost. No, the BJP lost because of these 2 months of crucial and foolish campaign run by the BJP. That they have to understand it there, and the central leadership has to take cognizance of their own failings and not blame Yogi in this entire game, because the narrative of Char so far and the Nadda's saying that the BJP doesn't need the Sang support. These are two fundamental issues which the parties sidelining, and they should not, because these are the crucial and central issues. Other issues, they keep on happening and repeating in each and every election. And because if there had been a perpetual problem on other fronts, there was a hype that the BJP is going to sweep the elections in March, and the data and our empirical study also showed that. So I don't think so. This is a very premature and foolish thing to even think about the leadership change at this juncture. And the second thing, which is very important, why I'm saying is that the BJP has very carefully and in a very crafty manner, it had tried to undo the culture of caste politics in Uttar Pradesh. It has tried to marginalize the caste politics and superimpose the class politics in Uttar Pradesh by making four major classes that I talked about a little late: women one, marginal farmers two, youth third, and the poor people four. These are the four classes on which the BJP has been concentrating. Now, thinking of even contemplating a change of leadership and bringing in any other person from the OBC is absolutely falling into the trap of what the predecessors of the BJP had been doing, that is the caste politics. So I would consider that the BJP should be doing any kind of a leadership change at this point of time only at a great risk, and that greatest risk is that they would undo their own doings, because they have been trying to wriggle out of the caste politics and bring in class politics in Uttar Pradesh. That is one. And because of this, they have been trying to bring down their wider agenda of inclusive politics and inclusive development that will greatly suffer. Now they will also fall in the trap of caste politics and then bring in some OBC or some other people as a chief minister, and then the entire the political situation in the state will go as it was running in the previous dispensation. So I don't think that it would be a wise decision on the part of the BJP to even contemplate changing the leadership. They should understand where they have wrong and why they have lost UP. If they don't do this, then for many years they will be back to situation 2012 and before.
So the upcoming assembly by-polls in Uttar Pradesh on 10 seats is like a referendum on the leadership of the chief minister, who is under fire from his own colleagues, and who are pushing him to take responsibility for the downward slide in the Lok Sabha elections. Will these elections impact the functioning of BJP in the state, sir?
Jan, there are two things which I would like to point it out. That ideally, I don't think that the chief minister should make it an issue of referendum, the coming by elections. There are two reasons for this. One is that, and the way he has been, claiming that I'll win all 10 seats and give it to I mean, this is the same folly which Mr. Modi had done in the parliamentary elections, because claiming charge of power and then not getting charge of power and doing very badly in Uttar Pradesh. In the same way, committing yourself to win all 10 seats and then certainly not winning all those 10 seats would create, embarrassing situation for the chief minister. That is one. That's the probability. He may win, he may not win. This is politics, this is election, it is the people's choice and the people's wisdom whether they want to bring in those seats to which part. So why should you be so emotional and committed about that? There is no danger to the government. Okay, you go and fight very harshly. But why should you commit it as an issue of a referendum? No, that's certainly not. The second thing is that by-elections are not an election of statewide interest. The media may certainly like to create a statewide, impact of these 10 seats, but our understanding is that they become very, very localized. Even the adjacent constituency, they do not know what is happening in the neighboring constituency. Nobody is bothered, nobody is interested. And thirdly, a by-election becomes, a different kind of a different culture of an election in which anybody can win. Sometimes the government is not very keen. Sometimes the government is keen, like the one that appears this time, that the Yogi is taking it so emotionally that he has committed that I will win all 10 seats and give it to the. Why should he be saying this? I mean, he can win, he may not win. How does it matter? And therefore, I would think that ideally he should not commit. It should not make these 10 seats elections as an issue of referendum. He should take it lightly. He has to concentrate on the governance also, and that governance. And then secondly, there are certain seats on those 10 by-election seats which are very, very strong souls of Samajwadi Party. So certainly, I mean, any layman would say that it will not be possible for the chief minister or the BJP to win all those 10 seats. And why should win those 10 seats, all those 10 seats? He should rather better concentrate on the governance and better concentrate on where things have gone wrong and how he can retrieve all those people, all those segments for 2027.